Coming right up, how to find the best bargains on Broadway. When's the last time you paid full price for a ticket? Do you remember the show? Our guests have secrets to the best seats in the house for less. And later, the program where students get into Hamilton and other major musicals for just $10.
Broadway Broadcasting presents Fifth Row Center, the secret to Broadway's best seats in the house. Roma Torre, three-time Emmy Award-winning journalist and acclaimed theater critic, returns to television to reprise her signature theater reviews and exclusive insights. Plus, she brings us inside the 2025-2026 live theater season. And we bring you into the conversation with our exclusive live interactive roundtable. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for details. Join Roma Torre in the best seat in the house. This is Fifth Row Center.
It's a question as old as theater itself. How do you land great seats without breaking your budget? Welcome to Broadway Broadcasting's Fifth Row Center, the show devoted to making sure you literally and figuratively always have the best seat in the house. I'm Roma Torre, theater critic and lifelong lover of live performance. This episode is titled Broadway Bargains. Let's start with a reality check. The blockbuster Broadway productions with mega stars and powerhouse creative teams will set you back, even if you know someone in the cast. Premium center orchestra seats can border on the outrageous, and you have to ask yourself, is that once-in-a-lifetime experience really worth it? But here's the good news. Not every ticket requires a splurge. Lotteries, rush tickets, digital apps, and last-minute deals open doors to the very same theater seats. Some have been around for years and others are brand new, all designed to make Broadway more accessible. This is an exciting show and I can't wait to share the secrets. But bargains only matter if the shows are worth seeing, and this season Broadway is buzzing. So here are a few of the shows taking center stage right now in New York and beyond. As winter drags on, consider planning a trip to Beaches next month when the new musical based on the novel and beloved film premieres at the Majestic Theatre. Novelist Iris Rayner Dart adapted her story for the stage with Tom Thomas, and the production features new music by the legendary songwriter Mike Stoller. But in case there was any doubt, the score will include that popular tune from the film, Wind Beneath My Wings. Previews begin March 27th with opening night set for April 22nd. It stars Broadway veterans Jessica Vosk and Kelly Barrett. From an unlikely friendship to a disastrously mismatched blind date, Becky Shaw brings emotional dysfunction to the Helen Hayes Theatre. Previews start March 18th with an opening night on April 8th. Gina Gianfrido's sharp, dark comedy follows a pair whose first meeting quickly goes off the rails. Next up, the Phillipstown Depot Theater, a real train depot in Garrison, New York, presenting the uniquely titled Mrs. Stern Wanders the Prussian State Library. Set in 1933 Berlin, it imagines a charged interrogation between a young Gestapo officer and Arendt, at the time a Jewish philosophy student. Directed by the talented Alice Jankel, the play stars Walking Dead's Logan Schmucker and Lily Ganser. It plays selected dates starting February 27th through March 15th. Get your tickets at depottheater.org. Off-Broadway, Wallace Shawn premieres his new play, What We Did Before Our Moth Days. It's directed by Andre Gregory at the Greenwich House Theatre for a limited 12-week run. The cast stars Hope Davis, Maria Dizia, John Early, and Josh Hamilton. The play celebrates the legendary collaboration between Shawn and Gregory that began with Our Late Night at the Public Theater. Shawn and Gregory have created a work that is as strange and at times hilarious as My Dinner with Andre. Chicago's iconic Steppenwolf Theatre company celebrates its 50th anniversary season with August Strindberg's The Dance of Death in a new adaptation by Irish playwright Conor McPherson, who's best known for The Weir and Shining City. The production runs January 29th through March 22nd in the Downstairs Theatre. The play stars Steppenwolf co-founder Jeff Perry, Catherine Irby, and Cliff Chamberlain. Tickets start at $20, and for more information, go to steppenwolf.org. At the famed Chicago Shakespeare Theatre, Hamlet gets cut down to size in an abridged adaptation that takes just 75 minutes for the young prince to find out what he'll be. It plays till February 28th. Then the Royal Shakespeare Company arrives February 10th to launch its U.S. tour of Hamnet, based on the novel by Maggie O'Farrell, which is now dazzling audiences in an award-winning film. Hamnet runs through March 8th, and The Merry Wives of Windsor opens April 2nd, playing till May 3rd, and it brings Shakespeare's comic schemes to life. In Shakespeare country, the timeless tragedy Romeo and Juliet stars Stranger Things, Sadie Sink as Juliet, and The Quiet Place's Noah Jupe as Romeo, making their West End debuts. The classic tale of star-crossed lovers is directed by Robert Icke and runs at the Harold Pinter Theatre from March 16th through June 6th. Sink, who most recently starred in Broadway's John Proctor as a Villain, began her stage career on Broadway in the musical Annie, and Jupe is featured currently in the hit film Hamnet as the very first Hamlet to grace a stage. Coming up on Fifth Row Center, a production that asks audiences to do something very unusual. Take off your shoes. My review is ahead.
Broadway, unscripted, the scoop for you in the fifth row seat. From every stage, what's trending and new. All in one live conversation with you.
Hi everyone, I'm Roma Torre, and in this edition of Broadway Unscripted, we are exploring Broadway Bargains, how to see shows for less. Joining me live are Logan Colwell-Block, managing editor at Playbill, who among many other things keeps track of rush tickets and lotteries. Playbill is an indispensable guide both for the shows themselves and for people navigating what can be a complex theater buying system. And we have Nella Vera, the Vice President of Marketing and Communications at TDF, known as the Theater Development Fund, an organization with a robust discount theater program. TDF is a rite of passage for theater lovers worldwide for many years. And actually, it's been 50 years. Fans have made the pilgrimage to Duffy Square at 47th Street and Broadway, waiting in line at the TKTS booth. In 2008, Red Steps became Times Square's glowing amphitheater crown, the palace where Broadway veterans and newbies connect and commune. So Nella, I want to start with you. For anyone told, just go to TKTS, what do they need to know now? Who is TKTS really for in 2026?
Yes, thank you, Roma. The TKTS booth sells same-day tickets for Broadway shows and off-Broadway shows, as well as a few select attractions like the Radio City Music Hall Spectacular and things like that. We also sell matinee tickets on the day before for matinee shows. So they're basically last-minute, same-day inventory for Broadway shows, and we've been doing that, since the booth opened back in the 70s. No longer have hard tickets. It's all computerized this time, but you do have to go in person, which is always a great experience because you meet people and you make friends and you meet tourists from all over the place. The one thing that has changed for us, we started selling only half-price tickets, and now there's a range of prices. Most of our tickets are half-price, but there's some shows that are discounted slightly less, so 40% or 30%. And then the main thing that people should know is that we have an app, so you don't actually have to go in blind. You can look at the app and you can see what's available at any given time. So right now I'm looking at the app, and for tonight's 7 o'clock show, I can see Anne Juliet, Aladdin, Bug, Hadestown, MJ. So there's a huge variety of shows available, and the app is really helpful because it'll let you know if tickets are available so that you don't have to leave your house until you've determined that there's a show you want to see. So we really encourage people to use the app. It's also, this same information is available on the TDF website as well.
And are most of the Broadway shows on there, even the most popular ones, Hamilton, Wicked, Lion King?
But we haven't had Hamilton, Wicked. Lion King has been on, but very, very occasionally. But the rest of the shows are up there that normally wouldn't be available via other discounts. Something like MJ or Oh Mary is up there right now. Outsiders is up there. So we do have a pretty good selection of shows. but perhaps not the Hamiltons, which actually makes us happy, right? Because we want to know that the industry is thriving and that we still have those sort of, shows that anchor Broadway that people want to come see. And so we're there when people need us, but we're also thrilled when our producing partners don't have to discount their tickets.
Yeah, and we don't want to discourage the folks who are listening in, because there are ways to get cheaper tickets to Hamilton and the bigger shows. Logan, I want to turn to you because we know at Fifth Row Center you do generally have to pay a lot more money. And let's lay it out here. What could somebody, just an average theater goer, what could they have done to get into a blockbuster show? Is that even possible?
Really good thing to do if you know far in advance that you're going to go see this show is be on top of it right when tickets go on sale and get those tickets. Those are always the first to go. I also have to say, when Nella was reading the list of shows that are on TDF right now, I feel like sometimes people have this image in their mind of the TKTS booth being almost like a clearance bin or something for Broadway, and it's really not. It often has big hit shows that happen to have some amount of tickets that are left for that night. Yep. So I think it's always worth checking into. But actually, my number one best tip as a fan, as a former going and sit in front of the theater like we're talking about today, right before curtain is another swell time to go to a box office. You would be surprised if they have a couple seats left, and usually those seats are those premium fifth row center seats. More decision making is left up to whoever happens to be behind that box office window than you might think. And I have gotten seats, fifth row on the aisle or whatever, center orchestra, 2 minutes before our curtain time for a rush price because someone was nice and was kind to me.
You can get lucky. No, exactly.
It's true of sold out shows. When Hamilton was brand new and sold out for months and months and months, I knew people all the time that were getting not cheap tickets. That wasn't happening over there, but they could get cancellations and get into a show that they didn't think they could find any ticket to for months, all the time.
We researched all of the possible resources for locating discounted tickets. And there are 11 possible ways to save. We have listed some 44 resources for folks to navigate. The digital lotteries are the most popular way for folks to get their tickets. Today, Tix has Rush and Lottery. So, Logan, what is the difference? I know a lot of people are very confused about Rush tickets versus Lottery, and I know there are great deals to be had with those two, but how do they work?
Well, a Rush ticket generally means that it's a last minute ticket. I don't want to say this definitively, but I think it's always day of that you can get a Rush ticket. It's typically when a box office opens, and sometimes that's only in person, and sometimes that's also digitally on your phone. So, at 9 a.m. or maybe even at midnight, if it's digital, you could get a ticket for that day. It's just completely based on who's there first. A lottery is really like a raffle. Like you enter a contest and they draw a certain amount of people who win the opportunity to buy some amount of tickets, usually at a heavily discounted rate. It's usually in the like $40 to $50 range. And depending on the show, actually, this is true of Rush tickets too. Depending on the show, your seats could be anywhere. There are some shows that like to save the front row for those seats. So you make sure you have your most passionate fans right in the front, and that's fun. Sometimes they're whatever is not sold that day. It just depends.
TKTS is available to all people. I mean, everybody has access to the TKTS booth, but there is a membership that people can join at TKTS, which is a little bit different. Right, Nella, how does that work?
It's the TDF membership, which has been around for a very long time. And what we do is we sell heavily discounted tickets. So our tickets are actually 70% off. So you get a bigger discount by being a TDF member than going to the booth. So for example, right now our Broadway shows are selling for about $51 to $62, $63. And that's the max. That's the most you will ever pay for a Broadway show. Off-Broadway starts at $11. That's an even bigger deal. So if you're looking to go to an off-Broadway play, it's really quite affordable. Broadway producers make tickets available to us because they're targeting demographics that normally perhaps couldn't afford a full price ticket. And so they trust us to distribute those tickets to people who qualify for the ticket. You do have to provide some proof, so we do vet people, but the categories include students of all ages, 30 and under, teachers or school staff, union members. So like the whole entire Actors Equity population is eligible. Nurses are eligible. Teachers are eligible if you have a union card. People on disability, retirees, government employees. If you work for a nonprofit organization of any type, you're eligible. If you work in the arts, you're eligible. Just have to provide proof that you're working for a producer or a general manager or, front of house. If you're an artist, if you're a member of the armed forces or veteran, clergy, freelancer. So we have 13 categories. That's a large number of the population. And that being a member allows you the privilege of being able to purchase these highly discounted tickets. And our tickets are never in the balcony. Our TDF tickets are pretty famous for being amazing seats because they're at the discretion of the box office on the day of the show. And so if people go to our Instagram, you will see constantly people uploading their seat views, and they're always pretty much in the orchestra for the most part. And the same thing with TKTS, people love to upload their views because, as you know, New Yorkers love a bargain. So they love to say, I'm at Hadestown in the 6th row, thanks TDF.
What is the cost for a membership?
It's $42 a year to be a member, and then you are able to purchase as many tickets as you want, up to 9 per show, but as many shows as you want. We have all sorts of programs. I mean, our company is all about breaking down the barriers to attendance. So we have, for example, we have a veterans theater going program where those tickets are free, and we work with different organizations and we bring veterans in groups to the theater. So we have an education program. So, bring 12,000 school kids a year to see theater for free. So we have various programs, but our most popular program is the TDF membership. People are very passionate about their memberships.
I should say too, it's not just a service that you're buying when you do that. You're also supporting all of those programs that Noah was just speaking about. TDF is such a great organization that does a lot of stuff, even more than what she was just saying. So it's kind of a double whammy when you go through it that way.
Yeah. Well, Nella, you had mentioned group rates, and I think in reference to veterans groups, but I also know that we're talking to a theater insider, and a lot of people aren't aware of this. You don't need to be part of an organization with a group to go in. You could just form a large group of people, a bunch of friends or family members. And I don't know what the cutoff is there, but
cutoff is 10. Which I have to say sounds high, but it's really not. If you're planning a night out on the theater, you can get to 10 very quickly. And especially if you're trying to go see a show that is hard to get tickets to, you can find 10 people very easily to go in with you and get a great deal on a group ticket.
Yeah, well, that's another tip that I don't think most people are aware of. We have to point out that ticketing, particularly for Broadway, is a science. And I've always been annoyed by the fact that I hear people getting really discounted seats at a particular show, and a seat in a section or even in the same aisle as somebody who had to pay full price. Why? That it doesn't seem quite fair. People get gouged so often without realizing that there were other options that they could have employed to get lesser priced tickets.
When you're talking about specific sites and places to get tickets, scam is maybe is a strong word, but once you start talking about non-first party ticket sellers, you can have all sorts of fees that you don't need to be paying necessarily. It's always a good first place to go to a show's official website, because for the most part, they're going to be linking you to somewhere that that there's a first party, their first line of where they're selling tickets, and will have the least amount of other people tacking on fees so that they can make their own money on top of that ticket price. I think the TKTS booth and TDF and maybe Today Tix a little bit are kind of the only ones that you might not necessarily see linked to directly on a show website. But I'm sure you can think of many other websites that exist that people buy theater tickets from, and they're not scams. They are usually good seats, but you do have to be more careful, and you might be paying a scalper fee, for lack of a better descriptor.
Yeah, you have to be judicious about that. You guys have been a fount of information, and we hit the tip of the iceberg here. On our website, fifthrowcenter.com, we have the entire list. Everyone, please visit our page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we will follow up with even more ways to make live theater accessible to everyone. In our next Broadway Unscripted, we dissect the spectacle versus the story. From AI wizardry and Stranger Things to the magic of Harry Potter, we will explore when cutting-edge effects enhance the story and when they take over. And then later, Marquee Madness. It's the end of the theater season climax with a bunch of show openings in the next 2 months. And we're going to take a deep dive into all the new plays and musicals arriving on Broadway. Thanks, everybody.
You know.
When this is all over, you'll go through the doorway at the end of the room. On the other side of the doorway, things will have changed forever.
A legendary actor, a radical new technology, and a play that asks the oldest question of all. At An Ark, now premiering here at the Shed in New York City's Hudson Yards, audiences aren't just asked to watch a play, they're asked to enter it by design. The Shed was built for art that pushes past traditional theater projects, combining performance technology and immersion, often in collaboration with major international artists. An Ark squarely fits that mission, and here the audience steps inside the experience and barefoot into a piece of theater that blurs the line between installation and ritual.
We feel like New York audiences are definitely the right ones to create something completely new for.
An Ark, premiering at the Shed, is touted by its creative team as the first play created for mixed reality. What exactly does that mean? No stage, no physical actors, and no artificial intelligence. Producer Todd Eckert explains.
There is a single entrance point into what we consider a sacred space. The fact that you're not wearing shoes connects you in a way that most of us, it never really happens. And that's where the connection of an art takes place on its deepest, most primal form.
Put more simply, it's a new way of using technology to present reality in the most intimate and communal way possible. And thankfully, they've assembled a terrific company led by the incomparable Ian McKellen.
Your hand has grown now. Look at it. It has been broken and kissed and bruised and cherished. It feels like it must be a different hand to the hand you had then, but it's not. It's the same. Can you see?
If you were hoping to see the legendary thespian in the flesh, you would be disappointed. He's not there, nor are any of the other three actors. But with the use of specially designed optical headsets that allow you to experience both the space around you and images projected through the goggles, the actors do appear to you as if in a hologram, close enough to touch. It's a stunning effect at first, and you'll marvel at the way they seem to be looking at you directly.
There are these glasses, and there are no screens in them. You see through them, you see each other. And the recorded event, in this case, a story, literally a piece of theater, is presented with the entirety of the actors in front of you.
While much is made of the innovative photonic technology, as it's called, the creators insist its purpose is merely to create a more intimate form of storytelling.
The whole point of doing an arc in this way is to use technology to connect us, because it's so rare and so difficult, and there are so many elements at play that will try to keep us apart from each other.
Under Sarah Francom's meticulous direction, it's a unique experience from beginning to end. And for more information, you can go to www.theshed.org. Our final story is about a bargain with a purpose. Broadway tickets for just $10, and the group behind it is in our behind-the-scenes spotlight. The program is called Broadway Bridges. Their mission is simple: make sure every 10th grader sees a Broadway show before graduating high school. So far, more than 100,000 students have had the best seat in the house for productions like Hamilton and Lion King. And now we welcome Rachel Reiner. She's the Director of Audience Engagement at the Broadway League Foundation, to tell us more about the Bridges.
The producers of Broadway shows, about 20 for each cycle, very generously provide a special ticket price for us to purchase tickets for New York City public high school students to see Broadway shows. And then we offer those tickets to 10th grade students and across all 5 boroughs.
And how did you guys settle on 10th graders? What's so significant about that age group?
We wanted to make sure that the students were mature enough to handle the material for all types of Broadway shows, not just ones that have a younger demographic.
Yeah, and the variety of the offerings is incredible. I see I guess this year you got about 20 shows, but Anne Juliet, Aladdin, Buena Vista Social Club, Six, The Lion King, The Outsiders. It's wonderful. Are there companion resources that you provide the schools?
The Broadway League has put together some accompanying materials such as etiquette guides or know before you go guides.
Is there any kind of mechanism to make sure that all kids are able to get in even if they can't afford it?
Schools choose internally how they'd like to handle it. And then we have had a number of donors who have funded other students who may not have had the opportunity to go. And the United Federation of Teachers, one of our wonderful partners, has also funded a number of groups each season to go.
How can people donate to the program?
We have a website for Broadway Bridges specifically, and that's broadwaybridges.org.
I can't thank you enough for joining us and spelling out a really terrific program.
Thank you so much for having me, Roma.
And they take the program on the road, offering discounted tickets to touring productions across the country. For details, visit broadwaybridges.org/on-the-road. We hope you can use some of the tips we shared in this episode, and we'd love to hear from you. Find us at Fifth Row Center on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you Fifth Row Center.